I bet I can beat you one-on-one. To any child growing up, those words were the ultimate challenge, a personal insult. There was no dispute growing up that couldn't be solved with a game of one-on-one basketball. However, just because basketball is a game of strong emotions doesn't mean that it isn't a highly regulated sport. Basketball is a simple yet intricate game in that it is easy to learn and play, but consists of a wide variety of rules and regulations. For my first point, I'm going to talk about how structure is an important part of the game, and that it is essential for any organized game to be played that these guidelines must be strictly adhered to. Next, I'm going to discuss the various rules that must be followed in any organized game. Lastly, I will be discussing the various roles or positions that players play in order to maximize their team's chances of winning. For any organized game to be played, certain guidelines must be adhered to. Basketball is a highly structured game that requires many guidelines to be strictly followed in any organized professional setting. It is played with 5 players on each team on a rectangular court with 10-foot hoops on either end. The object of the game is to shoot the ball into one of the hoops. Players can either move the ball by dribbling or passing to a teammate. There are 3 different situations in which points are awarded to a team. First, if a player scores a basket within 20 feet of the hoop, they are awarded 2 points. However, if a player makes a basket past the 20-foot line, known as the 3-point line as pictured here, they are awarded 3 points. If a player is fouled in the process of shooting the ball, they are awarded free throws, which are worth 1 point each. Each basketball game is split into sections, with the length and number depending on the level of play. In college, for example, games are split into 2 20-minute halves, with a halftime break in between. In the National Basketball Association, or NBA, however, the games are split into 4 15-minute quarters, but they also have a halftime break too. If the 2 teams are tied at the end of a regulation period, then NBA.com says that the game goes into an extended period called overtime. If the teams are also tied at the end of overtime, another period begins until a winner is determined. Basketball is a highly structured game, so it makes sense that within these structures are a highly variated set of rules that must be followed. In any organized game, a strict set of rules must be followed in order to bring order and stability to the game. Breaking any of these rules results in a variety of punishments that negatively impact the team. The most basic set of violations is called personal fouls. Personal fouls involve making contact with a player beyond a small degree. Each NBA player is allowed 6 personal fouls in a game. If they reach that limit, they are ejected. Whenever a team has 7 personal fouls in a game, for each additional foul, the other team gets a free throw. There are a wide variety of personal fouls. According to NBA.com, charging is an offensive foul where an offensive player with the ball runs over a defensive player. This results in the defense receiving the ball. A blocking foul is the physical contact that occurs when the defensive player is too late to get in position to stop an opponent's drive to the basket. Either 2 or 3 free throws may be awarded depending on where the player shot from. A flagrant foul is violent contact, such as punching or kicking. In the event of a flagrant foul, the other team is awarded both 2 free throws and possession of the ball. A technical foul is when a player or coach commits an obscene gesture, heavily disputes a call, or uses foul language towards officials. Each player is allowed up to 2 technical fouls in a game. When which they reach that limit, they are ejected. There are several other violations that do not result in fouls, but gives the ball to the other team. Traveling is a violation when the player handling the ball takes more than a step and a half without dribbling. Carrying is when a player dribbles the ball with his hand either too far or to the side or underneath the ball. Whenever a player dribbles the ball with 2 hands or picks up their dribble and then dribbles again, they have committed a double dribble. Once the offense is past the middle of the court, if they go back across the line, it is referred to as a backcourt violation. These make up the vast majority of rules within a standard organized basketball game. Now, I will talk about the various positions that players play. In order to maximize their chances of winning, teams assign players different positions, all of which depend on players' size or skill set. According to BreakthroughBasketball.com, there are 5 official positions on the court and are numbered 1 through 5. Number 1 is the point guard position. Point guards are responsible for taking the ball down court and calling plays. Point guards are usually shorter than other positions, so it is necessary for them to possess at least a few of the following skills, such as speed, ball handling ability, passing, or shooting. They are frequently in a position of leadership due to their knowledge of the offensive system and time spent with the ball in their hands. Number 2 is the shooting guard position. As their name suggests, this spot is typically reserved for the best shooters on each team. They are usually the second best ball handlers and usually also the best three-point shooters. They are usually reserved in a purely offensive role in which if you need your team to score, that's who you give the ball to. The number 3 position is the small forward. Small forwards are kind of a jack of all trades. They are taller than guards but shorter than power forwards and centers. And they are also typically in between those positions in areas such as ball handling, scoring, rebounding, etc. Number 4 is the power forward. Power forwards are different from small forwards in that they are more typically defensive focused. Teams do not usually need power forwards to be exceptional shooters, although it is a bonus. A power forward who can shoot and handle the ball well are frequently sought after. But however, their main job is to aid in the rebounding game and play solid defense. Number 5 is the center position. These are the tallest players on the team. Their main responsibilities are to keep opponents from scoring close to the rim by either blocking shots and then rebounding the ball. On offense, centers are needed to play in the low post, the area closest to the basket. Due to their size and strength, they are typically the best post scorers on the team. Centers are also the players that usually go in the opening tip-off, in which the ref throws the ball up between two players, who then tip the ball to their team. All in all, each position brings its own advantages and disadvantages to the table, and the best teams are able to complement each other's strengths and deficiencies. All the rules and intricacies of the sport are truly what makes basketball a special game. Basketball is a contradiction in that it is a very simple game to learn and play while being filled with intricate, important details. For any organized game, for example, a rigid structure must be adhered to in order for the game to be properly played. There are many different rules that also must be followed and enforced if broken. Last but not least, there are several positions on the team that players must play in order to maximize their team's chances of winning. All in all, basketball is one of our nation's pastimes, in large part due to the rules and structure of the game. And as long as basketball stays the same, it will always have a place in America's heart.